Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Continue, my son.
I have been playing green squares in World of Tanks.
The Lord sees all tanks as equal, but some are more equal than others. Have you enjoyed this practice?
I have, Father, but I have only played green squares, Father.
My son, a square is a square, and the good Lord deems red and green squares as equally sinful. Have you shotgunned any tanks?
Yes, Father.
Ready to fire on target.
Have you focused on slow heavy tanks and tank destroyers?
Yes, Father.
Fire! They're knocked out.
Have you one-shotted any tanks?
Yes, Father.
Clearing gun. He's gone. Find us another target.
Have you destroyed any red squares?
Indeed I have, Father. Indeed I have.
Clearing gun. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Well, at least the good Lord may show some mercy for that, my son.
What should I do, Father?
It is for you to pave your own way through life, my son, but you shall be judged when all is done. Your path is to see the right from wrong, to distinguish dark from light, to seek a path of absolution and cleanse the land of filth and sin. Lead mankind forth into light, and do not lurk in the shadows. Stand forth, be proud of your achievements, and he shall know your name.
Thank you, Father. Thou Arty righteous. Hello, I'm RetroJules. Well, my last video was to start a conversation topic about artillery. And the very reason I wanted to have a discussion was because I'd started playing it to sort of try and banish the myths and just understand all about how Arty works and the furore that surrounds it. And you guys were absolutely brilliant, because when you have a conversation, it's a two-sided affair. And my last video was basically putting my opinions, my thoughts and my experiences out there for you guys to agree with, counter, or just start as a discussion topic. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to those of you who just discussed it in a really mature manner. I really enjoyed the points you raised, and I really understand the points that you raised. As you can probably imagine, there were comments of all varieties about artillery. There was always going to be. There were the people that are never going to have their mind changed. There are people that absolutely hate it and always will. There are people that quite enjoy it. There are people that are neither here nor there. And there are the people that think that actually it belongs in the game, but it needs some adjustments. And those were the interesting points, actually, because having read your comments, that then got me thinking as to, well, actually, do you know what? I can see that, and I can see how that's a little bit of a problem, because as you know, I am a very average tanker. I play this for fun. I just pick it up after a day's work for a couple of hours here and there and enjoy it. And I picked up artillery and thought, do you know what? I just fancy a change. And that's what I did. So my opinion was by no means an expert opinion. It was just kind of, hang on, I've played a few tiers in this, and actually, I'm not sure I quite get where everyone's coming from. And then you came back with your comments, and I thought, right, now I kind of get it. And now that you've said that, yeah, I realise there are things that I hadn't considered. So thank you very much for watching the video and commenting on it. And a reward to you, lucky you, is that you get another artillery video, because one video didn't really cover it, and one video really only covered it from my side of things. So the discussion with you guys was actually, most of you agreed actually that artillery isn't OP. You kind of get the randomness and the RNG side of things, and the fact that, you know, it isn't super accurate and it's frustrating to play. But what you did say was that the mechanic is broken. And this was a very common theme throughout the comments. Interesting enough, that the people that thought the mechanic was broken weren't turning around and saying artillery does not belong in the game, but it does need some sort of adjustment. I mean, the comments were, it causes heavies to camp. Yeah, I've seen heavies camping. And when I'm playing artillery, the moment your scout goes out and lights up the enemy, immediately I'm moving my reticle towards those tanks on the front line. So why would a heavy push in that instance? Because it's going to become the first easy target for an artillery player. A lot of people said there's absolutely no skill required in playing artillery. And you know what? I'm going to cover that in the second chapter, because there's a different set of skills, but actually you're kind of right. Also, some people said artillery stops people rolling out the super heavies because they're just sitting ducks. And to that, I do agree, actually, because it's probably because of artillery that I don't roll out my 60 TP. Again, super heavies are quite circumstantial tanks, that they need the right map, and actually they need an absence of artillery, really, to sort of have a good game. So I get that. And the one thing that really grated people was it's an unseen enemy that doesn't have a direct line of sight, that can rain hell down on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I understand that, and I get that. Not overly sure how that's different to a TD camping at the back in a bush with a camo net and binos on. You will not see it. But I guess from, you know, people's point of view is the fact that it's there, it's on a level playing field, it's got a direct line of sight. Whereas artillery is only seeing what the rest of the team see. But artillery is a team player, it's completely reliant on the team. And I was thinking that, well, maybe to counter artillery, that is also a team effort. No one individual can counter Arty directly. It's done as a team effort, and you've got to hope that your light tank, your scout tank, the mediums, that somebody can break through the defences and take that artillery piece out for the team to help get a victory. Really, really interesting points. And I thank you for the people who really took time to really type it all out and explain it, and your feelings and the mechanics and what you thought. And it was really interesting to read. Well, how did that game go? Well, actually, as I started unlocking packages and having 100% crew, my artillery playing was becoming more fun, actually. So, Mrs. Retro walks into the room and catches me doing something really filthy that I shouldn't be doing on my own. Yeah, I was playing artillery. And she looked at the screen. And she looked at the screen and she said, "I've not seen you playing like that before. What's going on?" I said, "Well, I'm playing artillery." And she said, "Well, that looks really easy." I said, "How do you mean?" She says, "Well, you're not moving your tank. You're just moving your circle. She didn't know it's called a reticle. She called it a circle. She's right. She said, you're just moving your circle around the map and pressing fire, aren't you? And that kind of got me thinking because, well, she's right and you're right. Because in my last video, I said that I think artillery is the hardest class to play. And while it's a very different class to play with a quite different thought process, it is not difficult to play. I got that wrong. It was my perception of playing Arty that I thought made it really difficult to play, because I could not get any results from playing artillery when I was grinding. And grinding any tank is difficult, but tank destroyers, which I don't really play, but heavies, mediums, lights, I could get much better results from them than I could from artillery. So in my head, my perception was, well, artillery is really difficult to play because I just can't achieve anything. I keep coming bottom. My shots keep missing. I can't hit half the targets because there's an obstruction in the way. And I can't really move around to change that much. But actually, when you analyse it, what do you do when you play artillery? You move. You move to what you hope is a good location that covers the map, and that hopefully nobody else will counter and think of countering. And then you sit there, you bring up the map, and you move your reticle around the map. And when your reticle reduces on hopefully a stationary target, and it's amazing how many of them there were, you then press the trigger and hope that your shot engages. That's it. Really? The skill to playing artillery is being able to lead a shot, to know the good locations on the map, and actually to read the map, keep an eye on the map, and know when to bail out and when to relocate, and hopefully relocate to a location where the enemy aren't going to find you, and you can still be effective to your team. But that's it. So no, I completely agree with you. Artillery is very easy, in theory, to play. I mean, the thing is, what artillery to me really brings out the randomness of the game, because your reticle is so huge. You really see how the shots differ when they land in your reticle. When you're playing a tank, because we all know that artillery isn't a tank, it's an SPG, but when you play a tank, your accuracy of your shot depends on how far away from the target you are. So, if you get up really close, the chances are that shot should not miss, because your entire reticle is covering the whole of the tank. So no matter where that shell lands within that reticle, it's going to hit the tank. RT doesn't work that way. The random elements are ridiculous. You know, let's take the game. You are randomly entered into a game. You are then randomly entered onto a map, which then has a random game mode. Some sort of matchmaker then balances the teams. Long effective pause. You randomly spawn on one side of the map in a random location, and then it really starts. RNG decides where your shot will land within that reticle. RNG then decides how much penetration you'll get. RNG then decides how much damage you'll do. RNG then decides whether you're going to get a ghost shell or not. You then randomly decide, as you travel around the map, as to which bush you're going to use for cover. And you do not know which bushes are cosmetic and which bushes in the game actually provide cover. I think that maybe there are perhaps too many random elements in this game, and playing artillery really highlighted that to me, because you know, all you can do is aim until your reticle reduces to the minimum. Take your shot and pray. There is no skill whatsoever because you can't move your artillery closer. Your reticle is where it is. The shell lands where it is. And, ooh, here we go. Shotgun. And that became really evident within artillery. So as much as it is a very simplistic way of playing World of Tanks, I still like the different dynamic of it, and quite like just the chilled, laid back variety of gameplay. In this game, I don't want this game to end up being grey and bland. I like a little bit of variety, and sometimes I quite like a little bit of extreme variety too. Well, we are on 3 tank kills, and I really started enjoying playing my M12 once I had 100% crew, and that the random element of my accuracy had then been reduced, and it does make a difference. Do we get a shot on? Didn't even aim that properly, just snapped it, hoping to take out Arty, because I still love Arty bashing. So how did we do overall in that game? Yeah, not great on silver. Yeah, nice on XP. Just, yeah, didn't do a whole lot, really. But got a Stark's medal. Never had one of those before.
Ready to fire. Clear and gun.
So we finish with this game, and this game is almost a little bit of a turning point in the way that I perceive artillery. And I will keep you posted on my perception and what I think of artillery, because there were things that happened in this game and I thought, ooh, do you know what? That's just a little bit filthy, and this is only tier 7. But the result I got at the end, I've done that in a light tank. I've done that in a medium tank. I've got better results in a light tank. So I don't know if there's just perhaps this little bit of prejudice towards artillery, its class, and the way it plays. And it's an easy victim to turn around to and say, oh, look, you know, you destroyed 5 tanks in that game. You did 3,000 damage, and all you did was move your reticle around and press fire and hope RNG was on your side. You weren't physically moving around the map, relocating, using cover, sneaking up on your enemy. It's just a different gameplay, and I kind of get it, and I kind of don't get it. I kind of get it because I realise it is this hidden enemy. But surely, if you were to play a game in any class, not get detected, not get seen, and do loads of damage, would that perhaps not be your ultimate game? Is that not the idea that tanks, you should be firing upon the enemy without them knowing you're there? That's kind of the ultimate goal. And artillery does that really, really well. But of course, it does it by just sitting at the back of the map, out of view. It's a really tricky one, and I am enjoying a completely laid back, different style of tanking. It's not as exciting as playing the other classes. Even when you get to the end of the game and there's only a few tanks left, there isn't that level of excitement. As much as, you know, I kind of think, oh, I really hope we can win this, and I'm aiming in on the last few targets, there's absolutely nothing I can do to make sure that my shot takes them out. I can't move closer. And that's a little bit frustrating. It's not that excitement of when you're actually down at ground level, if you like, playing the tanks that are moving around the battlefield. That is exciting. And I may get a little bit bored of artillery, but at the moment I'm just enjoying this different class and this different style. I've kind of realised that I get the impression that the Greens really do appreciate having you on their team. I tell my team when I don't have a shot. I try and tell the team when I'm aiming at a target. I hope they track it for me. That doesn't happen very often. I say SOS when I'm in trouble, and I have been protected, I have been helped, and I've had people say good shot when I'm taking out targets for them. So I think when people are playing and they've got artillery on their side, I don't think there's any hatred there. I really do think it's when you're on the opposite side and you're on the receiving end. It's I don't know. It's completely different, and for me, the sort of the key skills, I guess, to this are trying to lead a shot. Hope RNG is on your side, and keeping an eye on the mini map. I've really quite enjoyed, because you really focus on the map, because I prefer the camera down version. I don't really like the trajectory view. I keep switching in and out of that. I just like this very simple plan view of the map when I'm playing, and I'm watching the map more than I ever have, and I'm watching how the battle progresses and how it's panning out, hopefully keeping an eye on any flanks that may be weak. And if I'm on that flank, I may be thinking, I think I should relocate sooner rather than later and get into a safer position, and that's worked. And I've quite enjoyed that aspect of seeing the battle as a sort of complete overhead look and watching, a little bit like chess pieces, what the tanks are doing and how maybe I should react a little bit later. Well, that kind of wraps it up really for me on artillery. The videos may slow down because I am grinding the American line of artillery, and I'm going to do it till I get bored, and I haven't got bored yet, or fed up, whichever comes sooner. But I am not going to be giving you guys artillery video after artillery video, because I don't think as a video it's as dynamic and filth or as exciting. So I one-shotted the Tier 8 tank destroyer at the beginning of this game, the British Charioteer. I still don't necessarily think that tier for tier tanks should be able to one-shot other tanks, but it was an exception. I got penetration on the shell and I hit its ammo rack, which was pretty much game over for that tank anyway. So that was RNG being on my side, and those shots so far haven't happened that often. But like I said, this game is a turning point, and at tier 7 I'm just starting to see things happen a bit more regularly. I'm hitting tanks a bit more regularly. I'm doing damage a little bit more regularly. That damage differs massively. Sometimes it'll just literally track the tank, and then I'll get a bit of tracking assist from our guys, and and sometimes it just skims them, and sometimes it'll hit them full on, and I'll get anything from 400 to 700 damage. And I'm just wondering, with another 3 tiers to go, whether that sort of damage and these results are going to be more commonplace. I mean, I was looking at the equipment that you carry for artillery, and none of it really helps you, apart from a few little things. Gun rammer, camo net, gun laying drive. I was looking at the crew skills. There's very few of those that are actually going to help with the crew, so I can't see that you can sort of have a really well trained crew that's going to help. Definitely having my crew at 100% and having Sixth Sense has definitely helped my game, and a lot of the shots are truer, but it still doesn't negate the fact that there's a lot of shots I can't take because of obstructions. There's a lot of shots where your reticle is stretched over a slope. It's different, it's topical, and I thank you for discussing it with me. This got really frustrating. We have got 2 minutes left, and their team, our team, my players are not moving. The TD is sat right in the cap. Don't know where Arty is. And this got more and more frustrating because, as you can see, I've done 1,800 damage. I've destroyed 4 tanks. I'm actually having quite a good game, and I want to win this. And it's like, God, I almost wondered if the game had a bug. It's like, are they moving? And then you see the light tank, and he's going off to J0. He reckons Arty might be around the corner there. I don't think it is. So he's got to come all the way back because the other 3 tanks are static. Do they not realise that we've only got 1 minute 10 to win? We have got to take the enemy out. We can't cap. There's Arty. There's Arty. Aim. Slow aim. Arty is taken out. 2 TDs left. 52 seconds. The medium is moving in. The light tank's coming back round. We outnumber them. I just don't really understand why we were holding back for so long. And the trouble is, we have got 34 seconds to take the enemy out. And they're both just sat in their cap. It's not going to be enough. Can I get a shot in? Yes, we take out the TD. We've got 18 seconds. Come on, guys. Move in. Move in fast. We can win this. And if I get a win, this will be a great game for me. Yeah, awesome. Just get in there. Come on. Come on. We're not going to do this. And 0. Really frustrating to watch as the team kind of sat back. And I don't really know what the thought process was, but we lost that game. And I was having a good game. 58,000 silver, just under 3,000 XP, just over 3,000 damage, and a first class mastery badge. And we came top with 5 kills. Thank you for discussing this subject with me. It is a fascinating subject and people come at it from all angles. And I think maybe as a YouTuber, I'm expected to hate artillery because that is popular with people. But quite frankly, I do not. As I've said before, I love to love artillery. It is the villain in the game. And I also love to hate artillery when I get smacked and it ruins my game. But I don't hate artillery any more than a tank destroyer doing it from the back of the map, hidden in a bush with the binos on. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you enjoyed the topic. And as we know, artillery is going nowhere. It's staying in the game. It's a very different class to play. And I just wondered what you think, perhaps, they should do to artillery, bearing in mind it's going to stay in the game, to perhaps balance it more. If you think the mechanics are broken, what is it you would do to artillery to try and balance it within the game? I don't have any answers. I think it's really difficult because RNG plays such a massive part to it that when you do the damage, you've just had luck on your side, and when you don't do the damage and your shots go wild, you haven't had luck on your side. And I don't know how you adjust that. Do you make artillery more accurate but do less damage? Do we bring in stun mechanics? Or do we remove premium ammo from artillery? Why does artillery have premium ammo? I don't get that at all. Really interested on your thoughts on what you would do to artillery in the game to adjust the broken mechanic, so to speak. Keep safe, keep tanking, and I'll see you soon.